Hi guys, my name is Maddie, your Books with Maddie. Okay, so brief introduction. This is part 2 to a series where I read authors for the first time. This series is I read Sarah J. Maas for the first time. This is part 2 of that series where I read Sarah J. Maas. If you'd like to see part 1, I will have it linked in the card. In the first part of the vlog that's already been posted a couple months ago, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury, and then in this one I read A Court of Wings and Ruin and A Court of Frost and Starlight, and there will be one more part which will probably be coming up pretty soon where I read A Court of Silver Flames. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy all of my thoughts and feelings on this book. It's quite chaotic, so just be prepared. I hope you enjoy, and here we go. It is September 2nd, 3rd, 1st, one of those, and I got this yesterday, A Court of Wings and Ruins, and I was surprised to learn that this is actually thicker than A Court of Mist and Fury. For some reason, I was under the impression that A Court of Mist and Fury was like the thickest out of the first 4, but it's not. But I will read it fast because for some reason I can't stop reading Sarah J. Maas. 700 pages. That is how many pages this is, which is a lot of pages. Here are my thoughts going into this book. I pretty clearly remember what happened in A Court of Mist and Fury because I didn't read it that long ago, but that surprises me because I usually remember nothing when I read a book. My memory gets wiped after I read every book that I read. But I do remember what happened at the end with the sisters, Elaine and Nesta got turned into fae. Lucian just came out of nowhere and told Elaine that they were mates. What's her name? The main character, Feyre, went to the spring court with Tamlin. She's a spy, and then everybody else went back to somewhere and did things. That's basically what happened from my memory. I'm probably forgetting important things, but the King of Hybern, did he die? I think he's probably still alive. There were queens. Did they get turned into fae? Maybe. I don't remember. That feels important, but I'm just gonna pretend it's not. I'm gonna start this now, and then I'll be reading it. I'm so tired. I will update you when I feel that I have something to say. Guys, what are you telling me? Why? Okay, guys, so there's incest. Are you kidding me? Right? Am I wrong? Is this not suggestive? Okay, twins, perhaps linked in power and mental bonds as well. Welcome, Tamlin says, welcome to my home. We will have rooms prepared for all of you. My brother and I shall reside in one together, the princess said. I just want to know why, because when you think of this, like, in the context of, let's say, like, this world, you could be like, oh my gosh, that's so weird, like, why is it? But I dare you to think of it in the context of a woman just writing this. But, like, why is my question, because, like, story-wise, plot-wise, fantasy-wise, whatever, things happen in fantasy worlds. I'm talking about Sarah J. Maas made the decision to have these 2 twins be incest. Is this, like, I'm sure it's not a big plot line. It doesn't seem like these are going to be major players in the game here. I don't care. I don't want to know. It was, like, the fact that it's not major makes it even worse somehow because it's like, there's no reason. It's just Sarah J. Maas made this decision for no reason. Right? Like, is it to accentuate the weirdness of, is it to more fully unsettle the reader to this side of the story? Like, we're supposed to be on the side of the Night Court, so maybe she's trying to unsettle us further to Jurian and, like, the whole King of Hybern, the entire family. Maybe she's just trying to make us more unsettled to show us how unsettling that. And I guess maybe that's what it is. Maybe. I don't know. No. And I feel like there was other ways. Like, we didn't have to. My other thing that I was going to say is I actually have something good to say about this. I am a huge fan of how Feyre is so angry that Tamlin risked so much to save her. There's 2 sides to this. I commend it because I hate in fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian, anything when the love interest is willing to risk everything in people's lives, innocent people, to save the main character. I hate that. Either way, the main character does the same thing. Like, I hate that because if it, like, I'm not saying if it were me because I would never be in that situation, but, like, I would hate anybody to risk anything for me. You know what I mean? Like, if there's any stakes, don't risk it for me. You know what I mean? And I think that she's, like, in the same, like, she doesn't want Rhys to save her. she doesn't want to put any innocent people in danger, even though she'd much more comfortable in the night court. And she's so angry at Tamlin that he did so much to save her. Like, I commend, like, it's not brave, it's not cool, it's not to risk innocent people's lives to save someone you like. That's selfish, that's messed up, that's, like, literally survivor's guilt, like, times a million. Like, imagine how guilty somebody would feel if somebody went through all the trouble of saving them and risked innocent people's lives. Like, no. That's not okay, not cool, hate that trope so much, and I'm so glad Feyre is so against that as well, because if she was like, man, it's just kind of romantic that he did that, like, I wish Reese would do that, like, no. Like, she's powerful enough to save herself. If she wanted to be saved, she could have saved herself, okay? Get over yourself, Tamlin, nobody needs you. Okay, that's all I need to say. I'm only 20 pages in, but I have a lot of thoughts, so buckle up. Okay, lighting is very bad, but I got to chapter 7, and I honestly am having a good time. I'm happy to finally get some kind of political intrigue, some kind of plot. I'm here for that. What I'm not here for, though, is Feyre manipulating Lucien. I'm just not here for that. Like, I kind of get why she's doing it, not really, but I feel that Lucien doesn't deserve it. However, I don't even like Lucien. I don't know where my feelings are with him, because I don't hate him. I hate that he's mates with Elaine, because, like, something about that just feels wrong to me. And the fact that he feels so, like, entitled to her, like, I don't like that. Whatever, we'll see where that goes. But I'm stopping for right now, chapter 7. But I'm enjoying it. I hope to get more done tonight. That's all I have to say for right now. Bye. I was not planning on filming for the rest of the night, so pardon my appearance. But I just had some really comprehensive thoughts about A Court of Wings and Ruin. And I wanted to share them because they're actually comprehensive, and I feel like y'all deserve something comprehensive for once. So apologies for my look. Actually, not apologies, because my content is not made for the male gaze, so I should stop trying to appeal to it. I'm enjoying A Court of Mist and Fury a lot. Most of the time for, like, A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of... can they be shorter names, please? A Court of... Did I say Mist and Fury? Oh my gosh. The first one and the second one. I feel like I would be like, I'm enjoying these, but I don't know why. I know I'm enjoying the third one, and I'm gonna break it down for you. So, here's the reason. The political intrigue. It reminds me of The Cruel Prince, and I love The Cruel Prince. It's her being a spy in the Spring Court and, like, manipulating everybody. I am so here for that. So, I think that's what's doing it for me mostly. And the fact that there's actually plot happening, I like that a lot. I think Sarah J. Maas, like, she's problematic. I don't love her as a person, but I think she did a really good job with the intro to this book. I'm 77 pages in right now, so that is chapter 9. And the scene that I just completed was the one where the one guard sentry person, like, fell asleep on the job, and then Ianthe, whatever her name is, got to steal the keys, whatever, but he didn't actually do that, and then he was trying to defend himself. So she's, like, basically cracking through Tamlin's loyalty, and I love that. Here's some other things that I love, that I think Sarah J. Maas is doing really, really well. I think she's making this book really universally appealing. So she has the political intrigue, she has, like, the action, which is provided by the Hybern nieces, whatever, and nephew, the two people, I don't remember their names, the brother and the sister, the twins. They're the action, they're bringing, like, the blood tension, what I want to say, but that's not right, like, this kind of tension that's, like, who are they gonna kill, who do they, like, are they gonna trust us, they're more violent than us, what are they gonna do, that kind of situation. There is, like, kind of a romance situation, because, like, Tamlin thinks that Feyre's in love with him, and then also Lucien is, like, wanting to be with Elaine, and then, but, like, Feyre's manipulating everybody, so she's trying to act like she likes Lucien, and then also she wants to be with Reese. Why do I enjoy this book? Okay, but hear me out. It's really appealing to everybody, and it makes, one of the things that I think Sarah J. Maas is really, really good at is making people want to keep reading. Like, for example, in the second book, it was like, people wanted to keep reading to find out what happened with her and Reese, and like wanted to find out, like, I feel like that was honestly the reason people kept reading, was like, what's gonna happen to them. Like, there was such high tension. And this is kind of similar, where it's like, when is she gonna go back to the night court? When is the spring court? Like, there's so much tension that I feel is being put into this book that I really, really enjoy, and I think is done really, really well. Like, really well. Like, I'm kind of shook. I think Sarah J Maas has a really good talent for writing books that have a lot of tension, in like political tension. I'm glad that like Reese is not all she can talk about, all she can think about. Like, she's in the spring court and she's gonna do a good job, and Reese is there supporting her, being like, you do your job, like, I'm here for you, come home whenever you want, but also stay as long as you need to do to finish the job that you're doing, but also be safe, but also I love you. And I'm like, I'm here for him. Like, I'm here for him being supportive, not being overbearing, not being overprotective, not hovering. Like, I am so here for this. What is happening? So I just want to come on here and say that this is actually really working for me, and I hope that it doesn't go completely downhill, which I can see happening. I feel like this one isn't really well beloved, and honestly, this is my favorite start of one so far. This is my favorite first 100-ish pages of one so far, and I'm like trying to think now, what was the plot of the first book? Like, what happened in nothing? Anyway, I'm gonna stop because I don't want to see my face anymore because it's disappointing me. So I'm gonna go now and read. I'll probably be back because I'm definitely planning on reading more for this, even though I don't want to film myself because I don't like how I look, but I have to stop because of the bad gates. Okay, goodbye. Okay, I'm a little bit farther. I'm on page 112. Feyre and Lucien have left the spring court, and they just got attacked by Lucien's brothers, and now they're on the run. I just want to say, I have no interest in Lucien and Elaine being together. I think he feels entitled to Elaine for some reason, and maybe like that kind of makes sense, I guess, because he was raised on the whole like mate thing, but honestly, boy needs to chill. Boy needs to keep it in his pants. Because that's all he talks about. It's ridiculous. Like, can he confirm there are mutual feelings before he gets so excited? Like, he needs to calm down a little bit. Like, he deserves this. He deserves a mate who loves him. But he needs to stop being so entitled for 3 seconds. And that's all I have to say. Thank you. Hi. Okay, it's been a while since I've filmed for this vlog because I just kept not finding the time to do it. Today is the 9th of September. And I wanted to update you with my reading progress for A Court of Wings and Ruin. Let's remind me where I am. So I've gotten I feel like I'm so much farther in this book than I am. This is definitely slower moving than the first two. The first two. I don't hate it. I'm on page 320, chapter 31. And I have so many thoughts so far, and I wish I could remember what the last thing I filmed was. What I was gonna say about this book is I'm liking it more than the first two, which is surprising because it feels like the most slow moving, the most slow building. Looking at this from a perspective of purely just writing style and plot development and things like that, I feel like this is actually really well done because she's created a portion of this story for almost every type of reader. There's a lot of political intrigue with the, relations with the other courts and such in Highburn. There's action. They're constantly going to places like the Night Court and having to fight people. There's lots of action pieces, maybe not as much as the other ones, but so far there's been a lot of action, and it's building to action. There's also a lot of romance, obviously Feyre and Reese, there's a lot of romance, but there's also like this, I feel like a lot of authors, instead of developing new romantic stories, they continue to harp on old ones. So I really actually am enjoying that Sarah J Maas is kind of just like letting them live their lives, like isn't putting more things in their way than would ever be necessary, and she's not making it like a third act romance. You know what I mean by that? Like, it's not just the third act in one book, but I mean like the third act of romance. It's always like the part where it's like miscommunication and whatnot and I'm struggling. Like, she's not doing that for this, and I'm really enjoying that. She's developing other stories, like this situation with Elaine and Lucien. There's that like kind of longing there, and then there seems to be some spice between Cassian and Nesta, which I personally am the most excited for that I've ever been. I'm like enjoying their banter and relationship more than Feyre and Reese, whatever, if that's possible. Like, I am really enjoying this, like Cass is simping over Nesta so much. It's insane, and I'm living for it. I think I will actually really enjoy A Court of Silver Flames. That's kind of where I'm at. Exactly where I'm at is actually where Nesta and Feyre go to the library, and they're like talking about how Feyre never learned how to read, whatnot, and then all of a sudden I think it's Hybern's like knights or something, they go and they show up, and then they're like running into the center of the library where it's like the monster in the middle. I haven't gotten to the part where they actually get to the center, but they're just like running currently, and I'm enjoying this, and like part of me feels guilty for enjoying it because I know Sarah J Maas, like I have trouble calling her like a problematic author because like if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, like there are like problem authors, like first comes to mind J.K. Rowling, like authors who have legitimately gone out there and been like, hey, I'm a trashy person, like here are my beliefs, and they're trash. But like Sarah J Maas like just really did not go anywhere into diversity, you know what I mean? Like she didn't even try, and like that is something that absolutely needs to be changed in her work. One thing that I always say as an English major is when, and especially in writing as well, one thing that I always critique is when characters feel flat and they don't feel three-dimensional. It's always, in my opinion, because of a lack of diversity. I mean, there's always like writing mistakes and stuff like that, but there is a beautiful spectrum of diversity that exists in our world, and I think it oftentimes, when you think of diversity, it gets reduced to just like race and gender and sexuality, which are obviously huge parts of diversity, but there are other things like disability, religious differences, age, like there are so many, and those are just like a couple, like the spectrum of intersectionality and diversity is so broad, and characters just become flat when they're not at all part of diversity. Like when you just like, there's only white straight characters in this book, and I'm not saying they're not like three-dimensional, because she writes characters well, but after a while, like what is the difference between Mor and Feyre? You know, like what is the, like besides their backstories, like them as people, like Amren, Feyre, Nesta, like they all like just blend together without that diversity. It bugs me that I enjoy this, and like how good Sarah J Maas is as an actual writer, as a producer of storylines and plot. Like she's actually really talented, I feel, but it's just this lack of diversity that I keep coming back to, that I'm like, I wish there was more dimension to this story, because it is just better that way. I mean, there's a million reasons why, but the one that it comes down to is like, why not? You know what I mean? Like, diversity is a beautiful thing. Like, why not have really dimensional, really different and diverse and fully fleshed out characters? Like, why not? You know what I mean? So, I'm really struggling with that diversity piece. It's interesting. I like to read a wide range. I think this is pretty prevalent or clear on my channels. I like to read a wide range of things, especially as somebody who studies literature for their, like, degree. I study people all the time in history that are problematic, and I used to hate it. I'm taking an entire class right now on Shakespeare, and I hate it. I hate just having to learn about white men all the time in an English class. But what you learn from reading so many white men for such a long time is that there is value in every piece of literature, whether it's you learn something bad or something good. Like, you could be like, wow, this is a way I don't want to be. This is the way I don't want people to see me. You learn more about people from everything you read, and that's the end of my spiel. You guys don't understand. Nobody understands how much I love Nesta and Cassian. No one understands. The way I feel is unfamiliar. I've never felt so passionate about something before in my entire life. This is something I don't know what's happening to me. Okay. I'm fine. I just got to the point, page 3098, where they're about to go to the meeting between all of the courts. You know, they're all getting ready to go. And then Nesta walks in there and she's like, I'm going because I don't want to be remembered as a coward. I'm like, yes, Nesta, yes. Like, she's coming through. She is the main character. And then she, like, remember, like, a couple pages ago, she, like, asked where Cassie was. She was like, where is he? Because she was worried that he was dead. Okay, then, now, they're, like, talking to each other. That's it. Nothing happens. They're just talking to each other, and it's enough for me. How is that enough for me? They're just talking to each other. Like, I'm crying. This is my favorite thing ever. I love them so much, and I don't know why. Like, they hate each other, and I love it. Okay. Anyway, that's the tea. I'm almost 400 pages in. I want to finish this tonight. I know I have 300 more pages to go. But, like, this one is kind of drawing on, even though I think I'm liking it more than the other two. This one definitely has a slower pace and is less action, and the action is more of, like, this, like, war, battle, bloody thing, which I'm not so much into. I really think this one is the best written. Like, something about it I really think is very well done. So, that's the tea. That is where I'm at right now. I'm literally losing my mind! Anyway. Oh, one other thought that I wanted to share was there seems to be a love triangle happening between Elaine, Asriel, and Lucian, and I want to be clear that my stance is she should be with Asriel, but I don't want Lucian to be sad. Like, I don't want to break Lucian's heart because he's a sweet boy. And, like, he's not my favorite. He, like, kind of is the worst, but, like, I do want him to be happy. But I think he's gonna die, but I want him to be happy either way. Like, I don't want her to be with Asriel if, like, Lucian's still, like, moping around. You know what I mean? You feel what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Hello, I'm trying a new setup where I have you on a tripod instead of in my shaky hands because I can't hold a hammer still. This lighting is not ideal, I'm gonna be honest, but it's what we have for right now. Basically, I finished A Court of Mist and Fury like a while ago, and I just like forgot to film anything to signify that accomplishment. I finished it on, today's the 16th, so I finished it maybe Saturday night. Today's Thursday. So last Saturday. And I read like 150 pages that night because I was addicted. So basically, I have a lot to say. Overall rating was 4 stars, which is surprising to me. I definitely liked this one the best out of the 3 that I've read so far. I think it just had the perfect mix of all of these different elements of action and romance and political intrigue and like all of these different things. I feel like Sarah J. Maas did a really good job of mixing it all together. And again, despite my problems with her diversity and representation within her books, I really admire the way that she writes. I think she actually, from a purely literary perspective, is a really talented writer, and she is really able to keep readers' attention, and I think that's very clear in the number of books that she sold. I mean, she sold millions of books. It's clear that she's a very talented writer. But aside from that, I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the ending. Nothing was really, stakes weren't really high because I knew that Rhys wasn't gonna die, he wasn't gonna stay dead, so I didn't, like, that part was intense, but I knew he wasn't gonna die. Amryn, I thought she was gonna die. I don't know how I feel about her coming back. I think that was a little bit cheap. Not that I didn't love her, but I just feel like she didn't need to come back. I loved Cassian and Nesta, their moment when Feyre was in the cauldron and the King of Hybern was like attacking, and then they were the bonding there. Wait, what did Cassian say? Let's read this word for word because it was beautiful. So when Cassian said, "I have no regrets in my life but this, that I did not have time with you, Nesta." Like, what the like, that's beautiful. That is freaking beautiful. Like, oh, I just love them so much. I'm so looking forward to A Court of Frost and Starlight, which I have. I wanted to show that. I went to Barnes & Noble and got it. Pretty short, but I'm excited. I've like flipped through it, you know, and I like how there's going to be lots of different perspectives. I'm very excited about that. I'm waiting to read it because I'm buddy reading it with Morgan, so I have to wait a while, which I'm not happy about, but it'll be fine. So the last thing I want to talk about is more. And I'm sure we all saw this conversation coming. And I have so many opinions. I don't even know if it's worth me saying them all because I feel like you already know what I'm going to say. But if you don't see the problems with Moore's coming out situation, then I'll just break them down for you. So, Moore basically comes out to Feyre as lesbian. I mean, it's not really clear. She doesn't really label herself, but she says that she prefers female, which led me to believe that she's lesbian, because she says she cannot have the same connection with a man or a male that she can have with a female. So that read to me as lesbian, but I know a lot of other people read that as bisexual, and I don't know if there's like a canon version of like if she's lesbian or bisexual, but I think it's confusing that Sarah J. Maas didn't like set that. Like, I think it was kind of cowardly of her to do that, because like if Moore was bisexual, then that would have been great bi representation, especially because there's so much bi erasure in literature, and especially like young adult fantasy, like that kind of whole genre. It's like there's so much bi erasure. So I think that would have been great to have bi representation. But what Sarah J. Maas did is she skirted right in between the line of having Moore be a lesbian and Moore be bisexual. So by implying that Moore preferred females, she was saying, oh, so she's probably lesbian, but Moore will still sleep with men. So does that make her bisexual? And the reason I feel that this is problematic is because Sarah J. Maas utilized Moore's sexuality to enforce a false narrative of representation while still enforcing heteronormative plot lines. Let me explain that. Instead of just having Moore, like having a sexuality, she made this ambiguous decision to have Moore be what seems to be a lesbian, so having good representation, but being like, well, Moore still sleeps with men in order to have heteronormativity still be a plot point, in order to push forward men's plot points, aka Asriel. And so in creating representation, she literally enforced patriarchy and heteronormativity. I don't know how she did, like, that's talent right there. Like, how does one, in the process of trying to have LGBTQ plus representation, further enforce heteronormativity? Because it's not only that Moore came out, it was that she came out and said, no, I still practice heteronormativity, not because I'm potentially bisexual, but because, like, it wasn't even clear why. Looking at this from a wider perspective of this as a piece of fiction, so regardless of what you say is, oh, Moore wasn't comfortable to come out, whatever, I'm talking, this is a work of fiction. Sarah J. Maas made the decision to have Moore not be able to come out to Asriel, to continue to harm Asriel, to keep that minuscule piece of heteronormativity in that tension. You know what I mean? I hope you get what I'm saying. I feel like I'm doing a poor job of explaining it, but I'm saying the relationship between Moore and Az for 2 whole books, 2 like 500-page books, there was tension between Moore and Az, which was uncalled for. I feel so, my dog is like, why are you yelling right now? That is so disgraceful to me that she used Moore's sexuality to bait us and Asriel, to purposefully put in our minds that Moore was straight or at least bisexual. And then she used bisexuality as a plot twist. She used or being a lesbian as a plot twist. That's not the sexuality is not a plot twist. Sexuality is a piece of somebody's identity, of somebody's okay, that's the first part of my problem with this. The second is it villainized Moore, because people are obviously going to side with Asriel because Sarah J. Maas has set up this dynamic that the men, Asriel and Cassian and Reese, are like these angelic creatures. I mean, they have wings, they have like this light that comes out of them. She kind of portrays them as these perfectly patriarchal characters. They're patriarchal to the extent that is acceptable to the women in the book. And in real life, that patriarchy would not be acceptable, but she romanticizes in a book and has female characters accept this patriarchy so that we, therefore, are convinced to also accept it. So Reese and Cassian and Asriel, we are naturally inclined to side with instead of the women. And oh gosh, it just makes me so angry because she enforces this standard of like girls versus girls and women against women, and like we are in a way pitted up against Moore in this situation because we're like, you hurt Asriel by doing, like, why did she villainize Moore in that way? Like, she literally made Moore's sexuality a villain in hurting Asriel. and she knows so many young women are going to side with Azriel, and like, oh, I can't. I'm still pushing through this series. I just want everything to be perfectly diverse and represent everybody. I'm so tired of having to explain to people why books aren't diverse enough and why it matters. Bye! Hello, I'm here to do a quick update for you on my Sarah J. Maas reading. So I have A Court of Frost and Starlight. I got this a while ago. It's like October 10th now. I've been like really doing bad job at reading Sarah J. Maas recently, but I'm currently reading A Court of Frost and Starlight. I am about 86 pages into it, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's very different from the other ones that I've read. Obviously, this is kind of like a pause epilogue in between the first 3 books and then A Court of Silver Flames, as far as I know. I'm currently just working through this, and then hopefully I'll get to start A Court of Silver Flames afterwards. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm wondering why, though, it's just not all about Nesta and Cassian, because you know that's all I care about at this point. Like, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I love that it's multiple points of view. Like, I love that it's Feyre and Rhys and Cassian so far, and maybe Lucian I've seen, I don't remember, but I'm loving that so far. I really like that there's multiple narratives. I just really want just Cassian and Nesta content. That's literally all I'm asking for. I really don't care about like the war camps and stuff. They're going into a lot of detail about war camps, and like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about Feyre's like painting stuff. Like, this book is just, it takes the word epilogue a little bit too far. Like, I want to read about like what they're doing, like not what they're doing, but like them together. That's what I want. I want them all to be together, not separated, because that's like what the epilogue is supposed to do. It's supposed to be like about them coming together, and like, and I like the realism of like them having to actually deal with the repercussions of the war, but like at a certain point, like, I just want content of them all being happy together. So I don't really know where I'm standing in this right now, but I'm gonna finish this probably fairly quickly. I'm 86 pages in, and this book is only 229 pages, so I'm hoping to finish it fairly soon, and I will let you know how that process of me finishing this goes. And I'm hoping there will be Cassian and Nesta content soon, because I think there is some in this. I think there will be Nesta and Cassian content, because he's thinking about her. He is simping over her hard, and I'm here for it. I just want it. So that's what I'm dealing with right now, and I will talk to you when I'm freaking out next. Okay, can I say something really controversial? I'm gonna say something really controversial. I kind of, okay, sorry, please don't kill me, but I kind of feel bad for Tamlin. And like, listen, he is the worst. I hate him. He's obviously horrible, but like, if you think about it, he thought he found his mate. He thought he found the person he was gonna spend his life with, and then she was ripped out of his hands, and then she found her mate, and then his friend left, and like, I know it was his fault, like he betrayed, but like, don't you think like his intentions with a lot of these things were good, just misguided? And like, I know intentions don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but like, I'm not excusing any of his behavior. I'm just saying, like, I wish him a little bit of happiness. I just feel bad for him. Like, I just wish there was some bit of hope in his life, and like, I feel like he has good intentions. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, he has a good heart, and I hate him a lot. Like, he's the literal worst, but like, he's not the villain. Like, in some ways he is the villain, but like, in other ways he's just a human doing his best. He's actually not a human. He's a fae, just doing his best, you know? I feel a little bad. Like, he's at this house all by him lonesome, and I just feel a little bad for him, and that's all. And I don't know why. I shouldn't feel bad for him. I think we should all feel a little bad. Just a little bad. He was so happy in the first book. And like, I don't want him to have Feyre. Like, I'm not saying Feyre found her happiness. Like, go her. But like, he should get somebody. He should be happy. No, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. You know what? I'm rethinking some of my past statements about Tamlin, because I forgot about the whole thing where he like basically caused Rhysand's sister and mother to die, and like, I just like, that like slipped my memory, and like, now I'm remembering that. I'm just like remembering how he like caused the whole war. It's been a while since I read the first 3 books, like a month, so like, just like some things are coming back to me. I don't feel like that bad for him, but like, and like, Rhysand is literally addressing all of my concerns right now. He's like, maybe I should feel bad for him, but he caused it himself, so no, I don't. So like, Rhysand is really helping me through this moment right now. So, like, maybe I don't feel that bad for him. Maybe I do. I can't figure it out yet. I don't know what's going on between Azriel and Elaine, but I'm super here for it, but, like, also at the same point in time, I don't really want a love triangle, you know what I mean? But, like, I wish they were mates so freaking bad. That would be perfect. I don't even like Lucian that much. I love Azriel. This would be perfect. Why is it not the way that I want it to be? I've gotten to the point now where they're all, like, about to sit down for, like, this dinner thingy, and, like, Cassian and Feyre decorated the house. Like, I'm just having a great time is the thing. I'm just having a great time now. I know I like crapping on this book like a couple minutes ago, but, like, now I'm having a great time. Like, it's now gotten to the point where I am fully invested in this storyline again. So first, like, 90 pages pretty weak. Now I'm into it. It's just straight banter all the time, and I love it. Azriel wanted them to wait to start eating because of his mom, and I'm not okay. Azriel, you are the feminist we all need. You are the feminist we all need. It's so good. It's so good. Y'all, my heart is actually, that's a lot. My heart is actually breaking for Elaine right now. Like, she wants Nesta to come to the freaking solstice party so bad, and went to knock on the door, and she thought it was gonna be Nesta, but it was freaking Lucian. Like, nobody wanted him there. Like, why couldn't it have just been Nesta? I'm so upset on her behalf. Just show up, girl. Just show up to the freaking solstice party. I'm feeling so many emotions right now. They're having a snowball fight. Guys, they're having a snowball. They're having a snowball fight. It's so good. It's so good. I love it. Okay, bye. Guys, she's here. She came. She's here. She came. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous for them. I'm so nervous. What if she's mean? Oh my gosh, wait, her and Cassian though. Oh my gosh, the banter. Wait. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's gonna be fine, guys. Don't panic. Don't panic. I'm panicking. Oh my gosh. Elaine making the freaking powder. Put the powder in the drink for Azriel because the headaches everybody gets. It's so perfect. It's so good. It's so good. They're getting better. You ever notice that they're getting better? They're getting better. They're getting better. The books are getting better as they go forward. I can't wait for Aquarius Silver Flames. Oh my gosh. It's happening. Okay, everybody calm down. It's happening. He's going after her. It's happening. Cassian is going after Nesta. Everybody just, what is happening to me? Oh my gosh, he's going after her. I haven't read what happened, but he just walked out the door after her. Oh my gosh. It's so exciting. Okay, I'm fine. I'm barely okay right now, just letting everybody know. Nesta is so visceral to me. I can't even describe it. She is one of the best written characters I feel like I've ever read. I feel her in every bone of my body. And I love her, and oh my gosh, the poor girl. Oh my gosh. And honestly, Cassian, my man, Cassian. This is just a lot for me personally, and oh my gosh. Okay, I need to finish this book, like, immediately. I'm going through it. This book is a whole roller coaster and a half, because now they're talking about having a child, and wow, that's a lot for me personally to take in, just because, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm just getting, like, they're just settling down, I feel like, a little bit. Like, have they even been together for a year? I don't know. It's a lot, and I know they're, like, soulmates, whatever. It's just a lot but it's fine. I'm fine. Oh my gosh, I'm fine. Okay, so, I finished the book. I finished this. And I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I mean, I know I was just, like, freaking out about it, like, not that long ago, but, like, I just have such a complicated relationship with rating books at this point in my life that I don't think I'd give it more than 3 stars. Like, it was great. Like, I've read some great books that I've given 3 stars. This just, I don't think it was supposed to be anything really, like, mind-blowing, you know what I mean? Like, compared to, like, her other works, I just feel like this one isn't supposed to be, like, at the same level as, like, A Court of Wings and Ruin and stuff like that. I gave A Court of Wings and Ruin 4 stars, so I feel like to give this 4 stars would just, like, cheapen A Court of Wings and Ruin. Anyway, that's what I'm giving it for now. I'm really tired, so I'm gonna stop talking now. I wanted Nesta Cassian content very badly. So here's the problem with A Court of Silver Flames. It's not out on paperback, and I have all the other paperbacks. It's not, I can't get it in paperback. So do I buy it in hardcover? No. I can't have a mismatching set. I don't know what to do. I want to read it literally immediately, but like, I don't know what to do. Sorry, that was kind of an abrupt end. Some of my footage at the end got corrupted, and so that kind of just got cut off really abruptly, but that is the end of this part of the vlog. There will be one more part, like I said at the beginning, for A Court of Silver Flames, and that should be coming out quite soon, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, I hope you have a great week, I hope you have a great life, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye bye.